to the Fighting Couch Potatoes. I'm Kadawfi Crush, and I'm joined by Liquid Gold Steve.
And we're talking about a badass show with badass women.
Not just badass women, but the most badass women in anime. Today, we're talking about a little show from 1989, The Bubblegum Crisis. So for those of you that don't know, The Bubblegum Crisis is a show that takes place back in like the late 80s. Takes place in Mega City, Tokyo, 2033. This show takes place with 4 vigilante women. They go by the name of Celia, Pris, Nene, and Lena. These 4 women have mechanized armor, bodysuits, armor suits, something of the nature where they're damn near Power Ranger women.
They are Power Ranger women.
And their whole mission in this mega city, Tokyo, is to take down the big bad. The big bad is the giant corporation of Genom. Genom's so damn big that they create 68% of the world's vehicles. And they own damn near all of Tokyo.
So pretty much there's a big bad that these 4 women called the Night Sabers, which is a badass name already.
Absolutely.
They even signed their shit after, like they're like, we were here.
Night Sabers.
So it's another dingy. No, it's not dingy.
It's a little dingy. It's a little dark city, little cyberpunky. What's that?
It's not cyberpunky, but it's futuristic.
It's futuristic, almost kind of like Blade Runner.
We're only 6. No, my fault. We're only like 9 years away from this. Almost a decade.
Yeah, almost a decade away from being cyberpunky in Mega Tokyo.
So how do we meet the first Night Saber, the realest Night Saber, the dude? And I'm just saying that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the dude, Pris.
Pris is our favorite Night Saber. I mean, like, don't get me wrong.
She ain't my favorite.
All
the
Night Sabers have their qualities. They all each are beautiful in their own ways. They're all intelligent in their own ways and relatively active. But we meet Pris in the beginning. And Miss Pris is actually pulling double duty as a rock star. She's a local musician with a group called Pris and the Replicants.
Pris and the Replicants.
Pris and the Replicants. You actually start the whole show off with her performing a song. I believe it's called Hurricane. It's possible that's what it's called. But I'm gonna tell you what.
Like a hurricane.
I'm gonna tell you what. That shit sound like Bonnie Tyler jumped right onto the track and just started getting it. That thing blasts you right back to the 80s. You sitting there jamming on a song, watching all this action from the police fighting against essentially a Terminator robot.
The Boomers.
That's what they call them. Okay, Boomer.
Okay, Boomer.
These boomers in this city they're supposed to be developed for the benefits of mankind. They act as things like bodyguards. They can act as soldiers sometimes, maybe a police type services. But what they're primarily built for is for like construction and cleanup and, essentially what helped make Tokyo this mega city that it is. You can tell it was built by boomers. Boomers have the ability to look just like humans. They're essentially like a super advanced android. They look just like us until they decide to rip their fucking skin off and become Terminator monsters.
Terminator monsters. So the show is Batman and his 4 Robins. Or 3 Robins.
Is that how you feel about it? Batman and the 3 Robins?
They're mercenaries, man. Like, they're
vigilantes.
They're mercenaries.
They're vigilantes.
They get paid for it. Vigilantes don't get paid.
They only get paid for it when their services have been requested. They don't get paid for it every time they go out and patrol.
Well, when they got that personal vendettas, yeah, that's not when they get paid.
They also don't get paid when they're just stopping bullshit. They watch the radios with Mackie.
But it's usually boomer territory they usually go for.
Right, because boomers are the trouble.
Yeah, boomers are the trouble. Boomers are the trouble.
Boomers like to go wild.
Boomers.
Yeah, boomers like to go wild and tear shit up. They have no problem killing humans. Shit, they actually can act on their own a lot of the time. It seems like they're almost have like some sort of natural intelligence of their own.
So they're learning.
Almost like they have souls.
So this is more listening to this shit. This sounds like iRobot without the lightsabers.
That's right. That's what iRobot was missing. Lightsabers.
Was missing the lightsabers.
Yeah, Sonny never would have got as far as he got if the
Will
lightsabers
Smith
would
wouldn't
have
have died.
Will Smith probably would have died.
Would have died. This show, to me, seems like a cartoon. Like you'll see it on like Saturday morning, and then they start murdering. And when they start, like, they're mostly fighting humanoid androids, not real people. And they're like ripping arms off and ripping legs off. Mostly Pris, because Pris, that dude. Like they said, and I quote, Pris left, we have half the strength of our team.
That's a bad quote.
That is a bad quote.
That's a terrible quote. You want to quote that?
When Pris left, when I quote, Pris left, and they only had half their power.
So what goes on through this show is everybody's led by Celia Stingray. Celia Stingray has an affront of a store of like a lingerie shop, but secretly she's got all the paper, and she's the fundee, she's the trustee, she's the
Batman.
motherfucking manufacturer,
Batman.
the scientist, the creator. She's the motherfucking
Batman.
bee's knees when it comes to these damn lightsabers.
Batman.
She runs the whole show.
Batwoman.
She has her little brother Mackie. He's very mechanically inclined. I believe he's actually the biggest help when it comes to building the lightsaber suits and all the accessories that go with them.
I really like the design of the lightsaber suits. They weren't Iron Man.
No.
And they weren't like a mech suit that you see with big bulky shit.
Right.
It was a mixture of Iron Man and
Power Rangers.
I don't like how they had the helmet and then the glass shield in front of it. Why even make that? Like you're trying to stay away from getting your identity.
Well, they're also fast, right? And their glass shields their face shields aren't supposed to get broken, but they can get broken.
But why does it have to lift? Why do you need to see their face? Why?
For when they have to communicate with each other.
Man, so
when the radios and shit go out, because they're out here fighting giant robot monsters and getting fucking smashed around and beat up and thrown around, when mechanics fail, don't you have to have a backup?
That's what they almost got caught by.
Almost.
Almost.
So obviously these four women are secretive. Celia runs the show. She has Nene, whom works for the AD police, which is a special police force essentially designated to taking down the boomers when boomers go wild.
So pretty much they work hand in hand without really knowing they work hand in hand.
Well, the AD police know somebody stepping on their toes, but they ain't really mad about it.
Who the boy from the AD police?
Hold on. I'm still introducing our lightsabers. So Nene works in dispatch for the AD police. She's actually kind of like a double agent where she gets all the information she can from the AD police and feeds it back to Celia. Nene's a bit of a ditz. She's not exactly what you would see as a smart person, but obviously she fits very well in her position with the lightsabers. She's also the least combat effective. She's a little lazy in the physical regard, but when it comes to using technology and getting information, she's jam up.
So she's Donnie. If she was a Ninja Turtle,
She'd be Donnie, yeah.
but Donnie's still real. But getting to the point.
Well, I mean, she's still real. She just ain't as nasty as the rest of them. So moving on from Nene, we have Lena.
The third best.
Lena, I think, might be the third best. She seems to be able to get along with everybody else and also has the least character development throughout the whole show. Like, you really don't get to flush out any real details about her or whatever. One of her personal relationships comes into play in this little short series. But for the most part, really what you get to know about Lena is that she's comfortable with every member of the team. Um, she's responsible, and she likes to date a lot.
A lot.
She has a different boyfriend every time you talk to her.
It's almost Bulma levels, but Bulma finally settled down.
Eventually.
Eventually.
This is only 1 year in the life of these girls, by the way. And of course, go ahead.
I felt like she had an actual arc, at least in the combat area, after the year went out. Like when the year passed on.
She leveled up to level 8.
When it went from 2032 to 2033. Yes, but yeah, she like combat evolved. Like she was still third. Chris is first, and old Stingray's second.
I think that's a coin flip between those two. So then, of course, we have Pris. And we've kind of been pole jocking Pris because Pris is just that dude.
She is that dude.
Pris, she's a rock star. She rides a motorcycle. She has a double personality as a rock star like Hannah Montana. Blonde hair included. The singer that they picked for Pris, I cannot recall her name off the top of my head, but the Japanese singer was an up-and-coming pop idol. And she sang her ass off. Baby girl could sang her. Just about every song you hear is a song from her and her band.
Speaking of music, whoever did the music on this show needs a fucking award every single year just because how great this fucking soundtrack was.
Oh yeah.
Like this, I told Kadawfi before we got on air that this reminded me of like a Scott Pilgrim kind of soundtrack. Like I could listen to the soundtrack of this show and know which episode I'm on because every episode had a new intro, which is different than everything nowadays. They always keep like one intro. Well, they do change a lot, but it's like 8 episodes. This one was every episode had a new intro. Every episode had a new outro. And it was a great, wonderful, wonderful songs. Some sad ones and some absolute banging. I want to say that better.
I know. God damn. Sorry. I was like,
you're fine, man.
I'm about to die.
the banging was bad. But some of the songs were absolutely depressing. Like you wanted to cry after you watched it because it was pretty much added on to a sad scene. And then the damn, when the rock and roll was so good and you just like wanted to cheer. Like they had their own, like, what's the fucking word? Like, they had their own music. They like, when they
theme music?
When they got to the scene, they had their own theme. It was like so awesome.
Yeah.
Like they're actual superheroes up in this shit.
That was one of the things that like really got praised about this show was the music. And again, y'all have heard me say it before. I'm not the biggest when it comes to the music, but here I am gushing again about some kick-ass music in a show. It seemed like the music was like 50% of the show is the way it felt. Because like the way they directed all the music and all the action scenes or all the sad and somber scenes are just the normal everyday shit. It fit so perfectly. It was seriously like watching a music video with dialogue. One of the things I kind of wanted to bring up before we go too much further, and this kind of involves the music as well. When it comes to the way this show was made, there were only 8 episodes actually produced for the Bubblegum Crisis Mega City Tokyo 2033. There are spin-offs. There is a continuation of the series. And then there is like a remake for the whole series. The way this show was actually made was during the OVA boom of the 80s. And they claim that this is one of the first shows that actually came over to the West fully dubbed. And it kind of helped with the whole OVA boom that we were getting. It kind of helped just amplify that. This show was made in 8 different parts. And it's each episode ranges anywhere from, 26 minutes to 48 minutes?
26 minutes to 52 in the last.
52 minutes, excuse me. They range in between there. And the reason why it was put out the way it was is they were trying to get enough behind it to actually make a show out of it. But they took small parts, 40 minutes or so, 30 minutes or so, and made a full, OVA out of it. And each OVA actually had its own full soundtrack. There was enough to fill up a record on each episode, which is why there's so much music and why the music is so impactful to you while you're jamming it. Because like each episode is crafted from bottom up. They didn't really have a next episode in mind when they started this. Like you would do like a normal TV series, you'd make 5 or so at a time. With this one, it was like, okay, here's a standalone. Okay, we'll continue it. Here we go. Boom. Okay, we'll continue that one and boom. So each one got its own individual attention as it was being developed.
Interesting fact, Kadawfi.
Oh, why? Thank you, sir. It's just, you could probably pick any episode and get a full soundtrack out of it and jam that shit. You know what I'm saying? There was somebody you wanted to introduce that I cut you off a little earlier. Somebody from the AD Police.
Leon McNichols. Why have that last name? That's such a good name. And then this McNichols. He's the closest I can say is not a bitch. Like the rest of the people other than the Night Sabers, Leon is like Yamcha. He's almost there, but he's not.
Nah, Leon nasty. You seen Leon jump in his little mech suits?
When he pulls the 6-shooter out?
He pulled the 6-shooter out with a missile on top of it? Stop playing. Leon nasty. And fearless.
He jump into that mech suit quickly and then get his ass whipped. Because
you only seen him get served in that mech suit once.
Because they fight boomers, they have to have mech suits, which reminded me of I've never seen RoboCop, but I've seen the robots that he's fought. That's what it looked like to me. Those exactly, they were blue colored and everything, looked exactly like them. I was like, what the fuck? Some of this shit looks like what the 80s thought the future was going to be.
That's exactly what that shit looked like.
I know, like every time, and then, like I said, 9 years from now, we'll have that shit. And
that's going to be dark as shit outside.
We won't.
Yeah.
We won't.
Of course we won't. We're always we're always off. It was like back in the 50s, they thought by now we'd have flying cars and eating space pills and fucking dinosaurs in the butt. They thought we were going to be doing all kinds of shit.
So, Kadawfi, out of the 8 episodes, what hit you the most and which sucked the worst?
What was probably the most impactful to me out of the 8 episodes was the character development you actually did get with Pris. Because out of all the girls, you spent the most time with Pris.
Absolutely.
You got to see Pris's nightlife when she's, rock and roll star. You got to see the other half of her nightlife when she's Night Saber. You got to see her train. You got to see her work on her bike. Got to see the things she loves, the things she cares about, which is very little.
Going fast and whipping ass.
She loves to go fast.
And whip that ass.
And kick that out. But you got to spend a lot of time with Pris. And surprisingly, with all the time you spent with Pris, you never actually got to see her practice with her band, hang out with her band. I don't know what the fuck the rest of her band looks like. We just know Pris and the Replicates. No matter what the rest of them look like.
Do you think that was do you think that was a time thing? Like they didn't have enough time? Because I wish they fleshed out more of the Night Saber. They couldn't just Pris is that dude. But I would want to see what Lena. I want to see what Lena does.
I'd like to see more from them as well. And it is a time constraint thing that they had, because on top of making the short episodes, the reason why we only got the 8 episodes, we were supposed to get 13. They had an idea in their mind, but the money ran out. We ran into legal issues. To my understanding, that soundtrack caused them some problems.
That fire ass soundtrack.
It got, some of the songs were awful close to other popular songs of the time.
Just changed it a little.
They did, but
they still caught him.
Yeah,
Right.
But as far as what impacted me the most, like I was saying, was Pris. I really dug getting to see her day to day, getting to see who her friends were, what relationships she kept, And you had to kind of read a lot into the background because you didn't get to see Pris struggling about her bills or even really having a fucking job other than the Night Sabers. You never really got to see how much she was getting paid as a rock star.
Probably nice.
She was a local talent. She wasn't exactly global or making records. She was just performing in nightclubs.
Somebody disrespecting that voice. That voice is fucking golden.
That's a great voice. But I mean, also you can see that the Night Sabers take up a good bit of her time. So she doesn't dedicate herself as much as she should. Something that I really didn't like about the show, I think like what you were saying, I really wanted more development with some of the other girls. For me personally, with Nene, I wanted to know more about Nene. Besides just the fact she can't get a date, even though she's cute as cherry pie, and she works as a police officer, and she's the sorriest Night Saber that you know. I kind of wish we had a little bit more.
Whoa.
Who's sorrier than Nene?
She stopped a nuclear bomb that happened. Like she did the realest shit ever.
Right. That doesn't mean she ain't the sorriest Night Saber in the group.
Chris gonna do that?
There was one task available for her. The whole series, there was one task, and it was to not blow up the 80 police fucking fortress station, police station. It's a gigantic station is why I called it a fortress. That was the one thing she did successfully. In combat, Nene was getting her ass whooped, always running, hollering and screaming, getting her mask broke. Clumsy as can be, ain't got a good cover story for shit.
Best out of all of them, Largo. Ladies and gentlemen, you meet this man 2 minutes into episode 6. And this man from the heart, from the chest, we're about to get these bitches that have been a thorn in my side.
Yeah, and he meant that shit. He meant that shit.
He picked their arm up and everything, boy. Oh.
Largo was an android, a highly advanced android that had a direct link to a satellite charged particle beam cannon satellite fucking destructive gun that was in space.
He had a destructo disc on like standby.
No, not a disc. That was a beam. That was like that shit that they shot Tetsuo with.
Yeah. Okay. I see it.
Right.
All right.
It was a satellite cannon. Largo was able to snap his fingers and blow shit up like crazy. He actually went to confront Genom head to head because they had a piece of technology he needed to help turn the rest of the boomers that he had under his control into real people. They essentially give them their souls, as he was saying. Largo forced Genom to put all of their bases up on the TV screen so he could see all the cameras, and then just started snapping his fucking fingers like Thanos, blowing shit up, just blowing up all the Genom bases that he could see
around the world.
Had Genom freaking the fuck out for a minute until Largo realized that Genom actually still had the upper hand. He was never going to get that device that he wanted. He had wasted his time coming to see the president because the guy that was in front of him that said he was the president was a goddamn robot man.
He was a double.
He was a double. The real president showed up on TV looking like geese talking that shit. Like, oh, you idiot.
Some of them voices, man, were harsh. Like, I'm the voice guy. Like, I like to listen to voice, but the dub, who? Like, all the girls, fine. Like, pretty much anybody. But there was like 3 or 4 people that were harsh. Chief Toto, did not like his voice. The geese lookalike for Genom. And like, Genom is the big bad. And they got that man sounding like that? No.
You ain't supposed to like his voice, Steve. He's the bad guy.
But he's supposed to be the bad guy. You need like a Krauser man. I'm evil.
I mean, did Cell sound like that when he first got there?
Cell sounded real though.
Original Cell?
Oh, no.
That's what I'm talking about. When he first got there.
Bug Cell did not count.
Right, but he sounded like a bad guy, and you didn't like his voice. That's how bad guys work. You're not supposed to fall in love with the bad guy, Steve.
So there's a cell between Cell and Perfect Cell. You know what it is?
Old thick neck cell.
It's Fence Cell.
You and this Fent today, boy.
Oh, that shit was funny.
You know that's white people kryptonite. You better
Yes,
leave that
I
shit.
I ain't fucking with it.
That shit killing white folk
All
around the world, bo.
You want to talk about Revenge Batman? With the thruster boost?
Okay. So to get into some of the crimes that these girls solve. This one was called what?
Revenge Road.
Revenge Road. This is actually, I think this is Steve's favorite episode, whether he says it or not. I think this is jam.
No, well, okay. Largo was a great character, and I don't know, like he did his thing. But Revenge Road, that's just fucking hilarious.
Fucking Batman's revenge. So we have this. We start off the episode with this man riding in his vehicle with his gal. They just cruising along. He's got a cool classic car that's for collectors and shit. It's called the Griffin. Then all of a sudden, these fucking motorcyclists come out of nowhere, start stabbing. Doesn't matter what they were called. They were called assholes because they started stabbing this guy's antique fucking vehicle, fucking running into it, causing all kinds of mayhem, and essentially caused his woman to go into like almost a permanent shock. He gets his ass whooped. She's all traumatized, don't talk no more. So essentially, he loses his fucking shit too and decides, I'm going to get revenge. So while he's recovering, he gets his vehicle back in his little shop and he starts tinkering. He takes what looks like a pretty nice looking classic sports car and turns that bitch into the Batmobile. Bulletproof windows, bulletproof grill. You ain't getting through it. You ain't stabbing through it. You ain't shooting through it. You ain't blowing it up.
Hold on. It's not the Christian Bale Batman. It's not even the George Clooney Batman. It's that Michael Keaton Batman.
That shit look real good too. and what he does with it is he goes out in the middle of the night,
kills bikers,
waits for bikers to get on the highway and just starts running them over.
Murdering them.
Like he's not even like trying to be inconspicuous about it. He's just laying them out.
You saw his face while he was doing it beforehand, before he turned into like Doc Ock. This man was just like another Sunday afternoon changing gears. Boy.
He just started it was hilarious too, the way he was running them over. Because like he was hitting them and they go flopping and flying all over the place and shit.
Arms fall off and shit.
Oh
like,
man, he's running their arms over. Their own bikes are hitting them. He's having a blast.
You know what I thought about as soon as I saw that? Chris.
Well, coincidentally, that's where he fucked up. Is when he hit Pris.
Did he hit Pris? I thought she couldn't speed up to him the first time.
No, Pris wrecked. Because her arm got run over by her own bike.
My fault.
Yeah, he popped Pris. Ruined her day because she ended up going to the hospital, which is when they saw him and her, and she
had a mental shutdown and
right. We see his gal, his little waifu, and she's all fucked up in a wheelchair like an invalid.
But we're not going to talk about the best part. We met Albert Einstein and this bitch. They didn't even try to hide it. It was so funny because Chris is not getting paid by the Night Sabers. They kind of on a light month. And Chris needs some gas, so she goes by her favorite place, the Stingray. Mm-hmm. And they pull out this man that looked like Doc from Back to the Future for a second, and then it's Albert Einstein. They show him the face and the mustache, and then they put him with a jumpsuit that says Nobel Peace Prize.
For science.
For science. That's a cool nod.
Doc seems to be the other half of building the suits. Maybe not so much building the suits, but providing upgrades to the suits that the Night Sabers use. Mackie also works in Doc's garage. They work with all types of vehicles, motorcycles, trucks, SUVs, sports cars, and Night Saber suits. They work on all kinds of shit.
And this is the reason why, or this is the way Chris finds out about the two people, because she saw the picture in his office,
On Doc's office, yeah.
then went to the hospital, saw him, and then they were contractually obligated to
Take him out.
take him out.
Take him out before the police get to him, because they're going to kill him. Which, I mean, long story short, essentially, the police do catch up to this guy. What was his name? He had a real white guy name.
Tom.
It was JB.
JB something,
It was like JB Wilson or some shit.
but they called him Gibson.
Gibson. JB Gibson. That
That's
was
what
it.
we got.
JB Gibson. JB Gibson, towards the end of all this, he realizes the jig is up. He snatches his invalid girl up, throws her in the Batmobile, and tries to run off from the cops. Cops set up these big old barriers and start guiding him to these barriers. Essentially, Gibson's woman, she wakes back up out of her comatose state. She comes back too and starts freaking the fuck out on Gibson. Like, bro, what the fuck? What'd you do to this car? What are you doing? Why are we out here? What the fuck? And he's like, oh shit, baby girl's awake. And when he tries to stop the car, whatever electronics he's got pumping through this thing, take over. They sort of explode out of his control, but then the vehicle takes over itself.
Like boomer technology.
Something like that.
Do you believe, because I'm not going to tell like the ending, because it felt like Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing, what he did to was it right of him to take the girl with him for his final run when he was running from the cops and people? I'll tell you my side and then I'll let you.
Okay.
I don't mind what he did. Like, if he felt like he needed to avenge his girl and him from these motorcycle gangs, do your thing. You're not putting anyone in danger but yourself. You're doing this for yourself. Like Batman, until he started using Robins. But when you put the invalid in the car with you, the whole time I see this, I'm like, oh, she's about to die. Like not real fucked up, but like real sad. Like she's about to get shot. He's not going to see it. He's going to think she's alive in the car. Like, it was like some sad shit going through my mind. It doesn't happen like that, but why put someone in danger if you want to do this? Kadawfi?
So what I don't think that last night when he threw her in the car too, I don't think he was going out to go kill people on motorcycles. I think he was getting away. I think he knew the jig was up. The police were after him. So, I mean, they were coming to knock on his door anyway. I think he knew what was coming and was just trying to escape before.
Was that the police?
The AD police?
Was that really the police?
Yeah.
They had submachine guns and Uzis and shit.
Yeah. That guy
He
was a murderer, Steve.
That's true.
He was an absolute murderer.
He was an absolute murderer.
And they had been trying to catch him for months, it sounded like.
Fair. Continue your point.
Right. So I think when he had old girl in the car, he could have left her behind, but then he'd have been a piece of shit for doing that.
How?
Because imagine she'd have come back too, and then the police would have told her, like, yeah, we fucking kicked in your door and your bitch ass boyfriend hauled ass on you, left you in here, fucking all by yourself like an invalid. And then who would have, what if the police also never would have actually come to his door and he just would have left her? Then he'd have left his invalid girlfriend or wife sitting in the damn room by herself to rot away and die.
Why didn't he take her to Doc?
Why would he take her to Doc?
I thought they were friends.
That's his responsibility, not Doc's.
But I thought they were friends.
You don't just take your wife to your mechanic.
But I thought they were friends.
Whether they're friends or not, you don't just take your raggedy wife to your friend and drop her off. That's crazy. You don't burden people with your shit. That was his gal, not Doc's gal.
So she's shit now?
Semantics, Steve. Anywho, but at the same time, I don't think he was wrong for how he went about it. Now, putting her in that amount of danger, he thought he wasn't going to have to face that. He thought he was going to be able to get away with it. You know, thought he was going to be able to get out of town or some shit, but he didn't have a real plan. And he was foolish to take him with her. But at the same time, he wasn't. It's kind of like a 50-50 situation for me. Actually, I wanted to ask you what your opinion was of the action that we did get in the show. Because comparatively, it's not action-packed.
No.
The show isn't. But the action that you do get, what do you think of it?
When they did the action, it was explosions. A lot of explosions and a lot of murder. Like when they got to the point, it was nut cutting time, and that was it. Like they might do this melodrama bullshit because it was a little bit of melodrama. They do some sad shit, they do some happy shit, but when the action came around, the first Genom henchman they had to fight, Celia Stingray, killing with the assassin's blade.
Yeah, she had like photon blades or some shit.
When they met the 3 female boomers, which was cool. Them 3 female boomers were cool. And they did them up. Largo, that fight was like the thing. The thing when it was 3 against 1 and Pris came in for the save with her old suit. She still did it.
Nah, that old suit got fucked up.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah,
it was the 3 girls that came to Pris's fucking, because she came after Largo first.
Pris went after Largo last, and she had her old suit, which Mackie sent her suit. He sent her suit with her motorcycle flying attachment.
Awesome motorbike thing. That's the coolest shit ever. Like,
yeah. There's a lot of extra accessories that go along with their normal Power Ranger suits. And just kind of depending on the situation needed. Because there's like one that's like damn near a Gundam. Like a small, it's a small Gundam. Really small.
That's what Pris had.
Not just Pris, but Mackie had one too.
But that wasn't like, I don't think he has a smaller version. I think that's it.
Yeah, Mackie has just the big one.
Yeah.
Because that's to carry the suits to the gals. Yeah. Supplies,
he's support.
And it also has its own cannon.
He's support.
Right. He's a great support.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like how Mackie always played his part and never got too big for his britches. You know, like, oh well, I'm stronger than these women, I could do it. He just was like, nope, I'm the mechanic. I'll play some support, and when y'all need me, I got anyone's back. He's a little bit combat effective. He's tech savvy, which is how he helped Nene get, stop that nuclear warhead from going off.
The last episode, I like how they finally brought it around when they were looking for the to ID who were the Nightsabers. I really liked how it was the niece from the chief having to try to find who the Nightsaber were.
She was the only one actually trying to figure it out. Nobody else was actually trying to figure it out.
Well, Genom already figured it out.
Did they?
Yeah. When
they figured out a piece of it.
The first henchman found out it was Celia Stingray. Right. And they were videotaping that.
Just a little bit of it. Just a little bit. But they never used it to their advantage.
But they also were studying their moves. And there's multiple. There had to have been like cameras to at least see who they were.
If that was the case, like if they had been discovered, I think Genom would have took them out already.
Remember at the end of the show, they were saying that Genom and Nightsabers kind of had to go round and round.
Yeah,
one can't destroy the other.
It's a balance. No. They didn't say one couldn't destroy the other. They were stating that Genom or the Nightsabers were necessary to essentially keep Genom in check from growing too far. It's like deer and wolves. You gotta have just enough wolves to cull the deer, so they don't overgrow and destroy everything. It's like when it comes to that with Genom and the Nightsabers, I don't think that Genom actually ever figured out who the Nightsabers were. I do believe that in that first episode, that guy that discovered who Celia, I think he got killed fast enough because he was like destroyed.
His death pose, hardest in the fucking show. Hardest in the fucking show.
What made his death pose so good?
Because he died, but he knew it. So I'm going to try to explain it. How they drew it was his reflection was perfect. Like his blood made a perfect reflective mirror, and he was looking at the moon, and he was smiling. Like he knew. And like, oh, it looks so good. I kind of want to put it as my wallpaper.
You want to die like that one day, huh?
If I died like that, I'd be okay.
Like, I look cool when I died.
I'm going to bring it up again. Throughout all the show, Genom is still like, even though the terrorists that had the other boomers, the better boomers.
He did have better boomers. Largo's boomers.
He had Largo's boomers?
No, Largo created boomers.
Oh, no, I was talking about the last episode when he brought the 3 in. One that was about to destroy the fucking 80 police.
It wasn't the last episode.
That was the last episode. When they blew up the 80 police, when Nene was...
Yeah, you're right. My fault. I forget about Nene and the blonde hair girl all the time. Like that episode.
You know, she reminded me of old girl from Outlaw Star. Katara, boy.
Aisha Clan.
Treated like a child. That was the funniest shit.
She was like a child.
She was 18.
She was in there acting like a kid too, skipping around. And
she was like, why treat her like that?
Because she was acting like that. She was using that as
they had to animate or draw that like
she was using it as like a young innocent, so people ignored what she was actually doing because she was actually spying on Nene's ass. Personally, my favorite episode is episode 3. Was it Blown Up?
Blown Up.
I like that episode a lot. I feel like throughout that episode, Pris took some L's. And I feel like later in the series, it becomes more important, those L's that she took. But,
what are you talking about? There was a Bruce Wayne that was made. There was a Bruce Wayne that was made worse.
What do you mean?
The kid that lost his mother.
Yeah,
to Genom.
Pris took all them L's, though.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's not Show's show. It was a Pris's fucking show. It was a Pris episode.
Show's in daycare or orphanage now.
And he's happy. You saw his little happy wave.
No, it wasn't.
He was a little happy wave. So what happened here is essentially what starts this episode off. What the fuck did I say to you earlier about Pris taking L's? So you distracted me talking about Show stupid ass. Show stupid. Nobody give a shit about Show. That's why they showed his little raggedy face twice. So we kind of kicked the episode off seeing that Pris is kind of a fucking bum. And when I say that, I mean it like this. Pris is over at Lena's house cleaning her dishes. And Lena's like, yo, clean them dishes and go sweep the floor and do a little bit of this. And Pris is like, yo, what the fuck, bitch? Why I gotta do all that? She goes, I had to feed you, right? It's only right if you did something my chores for me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sounds like something that Lena and Pris have been through a couple times. You know, having to feed Pris's little broke ass. Then the next thing you see is Pris getting evicted out of her apartment complex. Her and her homegirl. Her homegirl, like her best friend, has a little son named Show. And you could tell Pris is rather close to this little boy and to his mom. When they start getting evicted, Genom is the ones who buys the property, the apartment complex, and fucking immediately starts demolishing it. Doesn't give anybody an opportunity to go inside and get their shit. It's just like, all right, put the jackhammer to it. So Pris's homegirl runs inside. And she's like, wait, I gotta go get the money that we got saved up. She runs inside up to the top floor, whatever. And the jackhammer didn't stop jackhammering. Just kept on demolishing this building. And of course, the worst happens. Baby girl gets squished by debris, holding on to like $5.
$5 whole.
Hey man, if you you got what you got, bruh. And Show had to see his mother squashed. Pris pocketed that money. Pris pocketed that money
and left Show in an orphanage.
And that was Marco, wasn't it? The villain of that week? The black-haired guy. The one that Sylvia killed.
I think his name was Marco. There were so many little like Genom. Like, it was just
Like Genom executives.
It was just a Genom henchman. Like, henchman number 1, he died. Henchman number 2, you died. And then the third guy from Lost to Largo. He turned people into putty. He turned people into blood.
Largo was working him out. But so essentially, Pris took that L. And then at the end of the episode, this is what like really gets me, is she has to take Show to an orphanage. And like the way they filmed it, it was what do you call it? A down shoot or something? I forgot what kind of shooting style it is, but we're shooting from up at a downward angle. There's actually a word for this. I wrote it down. Hold on. It's all filmed from a high angle shot. This last moment here. And what you get to see Pris walking Show to the orphanage. And just in that moment, with the sad music playing in the background, you can kind of feel Pris's shame. The shame that she can't take care of a friend in need. The shame that she has to actually take this little boy to the orphanage right after he lost his mama. And ain't really nothing she can do for him. And the reason why there's nothing she can do for him is because of the split between her own life. Being half a rock star and half a fucking superhero. And also just generally not giving a shit about most things. So Pris has no life savings. Pris has no real income to speak of. And at a time when someone she loves and cares about is seriously in need, she can't fucking help. She has to give her problem to somebody else. And you can kind of see that impact her at the end of that episode with the way she runs away from Show. And then the way they slowly pan to or fade to black to her motorcycle. And then her motorcycle in the spotlight with one of her Pris posters. Also in the spotlight. And they just kind of sit on that scene for a while and just kind of let that ride till the credits end. And you get to really sit there and like, you know, if you're any kind of a fuck up in life, you can probably really feel where Pris was coming from at that moment. When you're one of those kind of fuck ups that's like, you know, I'm not a fuck up, I'm just doing my own thing. And then you realize doing your own thing has left you in a situation where you can't help others. You're so busy and you're so self-absorbed in yourself. You can't help those that you care about or those close to you. And you could tell that really started to eat at Pris over the course of the next few episodes.
Wrong. The end of the episode, she passed it off to the orphanage and ran away. She was like, ain't my problem no more. No, it was a very sad episode. It had a sad song.
No, you're just a dick. It's okay.
Am a dick.
You're just a dick. You're just a dick.
It's okay.
Like you sat there with that big stupid smile on your face the whole time. I was like, I'm going to ruin that.
Great explanation. But Pris ran away.
Yeah, she literally ran away.
She couldn't ask Silas Stingray, hey, you hold a child for me?
Do you believe people have problems and just walk around and go, hey, I know you, take care of my problem?
No.
Right. Sometimes you just got to do the other thing. The right thing.
The right thing.
And for her, the right thing was to send the boy to an orphanage.
Cut the rope.
I mean, he can get 3 squares a day.
Was it prison?
No, it's an orphanage. You know, that's how we got Tiger Mask and King. Orphanage. Who said orphanage is so bad?
So bad.
As long as it's not a Catholic orphanage.
Ugh.
Say 3 Hail Marys. So, Liquid, is there anything like impactful with the show? Maybe something that you'll be carrying with you when you watch other shows now? Maybe something about Bubblegum Crisis you might compare it to or something like that?
In anime, there are actual useful Sakuras, not just the useless one. It's not wholly different because like the plot setting is the same thing as those other shows that you love to show me.
Like what?
Dark Side Blues.
It's not the same setting at all.
Big corporation got all the money and nuke.
Right, but they were like putting their thumb on top of people's necks in Dark Side Blues. And Genom and Bubblegum Crisis, not quite.
Genom was that. Stop playing.
but they weren't.
And then Fist of the North Star.
That's a post-apocalyptic world.
Sad world.
Sad 80s biker influence devastation. I know.
All right, get into it. What did I take from this show? I took great soundtrack. Anime Power Rangers. First time I ever seen something that wasn't Power Rangers. Boomers.
Okay, Boomer.
Them designs were actually really nice. And this reminded me a lot of Terminator with the T2, like having all like the alloy one that mixes to anybody.
Right.
I would want to be a boomer. If I was in the show, I'd be a boomer.
It's because they all had thick necks, huh?
Yeah, they did.
All the humans had a little skinny neck, but the boomers had big, thick neck.
And we can talk. We had the elephant in the room. Daly had a hard-on for Leon.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up. Something that I noticed while watching this show, the creator, the author, the director, whomever was in charge of this part of it, they really didn't seem to mind sex changes or transsexuals or gay or straight or bi. They didn't really seem to mind. And I say that because there was another show that he did. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but one of the themes that he always has is he likes to use robotics and strong, powerful women. And there's always like a theme of like futuristic. And the women, usually he likes to have singers in his shows. He likes to have a powerful vocalist. In one of the shows that he did, there's a vocalist, a musician, whom changes genders on the fly, essentially. Had two different voice actors, depending on how the character felt in the moment, depending on which personality the character took on. And the way that this stuff is implemented in the show, Bubblegum Crisis, well, we have Leon and we have Daly, which Daly, just like a dude, is just straight up, hey, I want your butt, like a dude would be. And then we have Sylvie and Pris. Not Celia, but Sylvie and Pris. They hint the whole time that there's a relationship going on there. And they're particularly close considering how Pris is with most people. Apparently, Pris bragged about how great of a motorcycle rider she was and how pretty she was. And when the other girls saw her, they were like, oh my God, this motherfucker, goddamn, she just made me ugly. Shit, that bitch fine. Fucking Lena was drooling over her. I mean, Lena was going nuts for Sylvie. And I think it was pretty cool, pretty interesting that they were able to implement alternate lifestyles without making a big deal about it, with it feeling just as natural as it could. And I mean, hey, we're 2024 right now. In 9 years, we very well could be living like that. You know, where there's no longer a big deal about transsexuals or gays or straights or bis. You're what the fuck you are and shut the fuck up. Because you actually never heard anybody make actual mention about people's sexuality in this show. It just kind of was what it was.
It was what it was.
Now, via watching this show again, I have a little bit to admit. All right. I brought this show to you, Liquid Gold. I've been talking about it to you for a couple years now. Been like, hey, you gotta check out the Bubblegum Crisis. Fucking robots and bitches. Oh, Bubblegum Crisis. So
Sounded gay.
I got a hold of this shit. Robots and bitches. Bubblegum Crisis. Sounds gay.
Can't say it.
So, via watching this show, I was looking at the characters, especially some of our side characters. Like, what was the other singer's name?
Vision.
Vision and her sister and
Irene.
Irene and Nene's other homegirl that looked just like Irene. The brown short hair.
Yeah, her friend, the AD.
Right. Looking at them, I kind of kept going like, man, those character designs look stupid familiar. Those designs look crazy, crazy familiar. So I looked up who the artist was. The artist behind the character creation in Bubblegum Crisis, like the actual visuals of the characters, that same artist is actually the creator of one of my other female favorite shows,
Sailor Moon.
The Gunsmith Cats. Makes all the sense in the world now to me why I like this show also. I've going through this podcast, doing this journey with you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I've discovered more about the anime that I love, that I've already been addicted to. Just doing a little bit of extra research, I've discovered so much more about it than I ever did before. And so much of it is starting to make more and more sense. Like I found connections to Outlaw Star, to something else that we watched. And now I'm finding connections with Bubblegum Crisis and the Gunsmith Cats. Two shows that I used to watch like as often as I could on the Action Channel back in the day. I tried my damnedest to watch these shows as often as I could.
You old ass.
I know, man. The back before anime was really, really, really out there for us like that. Like Toonami was around at this time, but like, you know, they can only show so much.
Only show so much. Well, great show. Watch again. I might even watch the Bubblegum Crash. Might just watch the Bubblegum Crash just in case.
I don't know, man. The creators of Bubblegum Crash themselves said skip that shit. I might actually go back and give Bubblegum Crisis 2043 another chance.
I might try AD Files and see how I want to do it.
That looks like it might be good.
But other than that, if it's like that, even the graders say don't do it. I might just still pull the brick.
You might. Something else I wanted to point out. Another show that is influenced here. Bubblegum Crisis, when it was being created, one of the shows that was, or one of the OVAs that was out and kind of doing well was the Macross series. And in Macross, there's a lot of transforming robots and stuff like that. And Bubblegum Crisis took a lot of inspiration from Macross. When you actually get down to like the designs of the city and the designs of like the way the mechanics of the robots and stuff work, took a lot of influence from that. And again, another show that I used to watch religiously on the Action Channel. And it's just crazy how these things are tied together for me.
It's a small world after all.
It really is. And, you know, here I am this whole time. Nobody ever talks about Bubblegum Crisis. You know, while we were doing our research for this, I'm Googling it. And all you can get is like the basic Google information. You know, once in a while you can find an interview or something like that. So I was like, man, let's see what YouTube has to say. I found one 16-minute long video talking about Bubblegum Crisis. And I was like, shit, does really nobody know what the fuck this is? This is like amazing. How could you not know? It's mecha and women. Like, most of us guys love that kind of shit.
Girls and robots.
But you know what I think always kept people away from it? Was the name of the show itself.
Bubblegum Crisis?
Bubblegum Crisis. Because, I mean, in all honesty, when I first saw it on TV, like saw the title of it coming up, I died laughing. Died fucking laughing. It was like, I'll turn this on to see what kind of stupid shit this is.
Oh, this is so cool.
This is amazing. Whoa. They should have named this something else. This is... The creation of this 8-episode series, 8-episode OVA, 8 OVA series, whatever you want to call it. Dude, I greatly appreciate it. I'm a big fan. Again, mecha and women and giant robot monsters and justice and injustice and the gray area. Dude, I love it. I love it. For me, this is Batman. For kick-ass women out here causing all kinds of fuckery, ruining the big corporate lives. And they're actually after the people who deserve to be after. Unlike Batman. Break a purse thief's kneecaps and shit.
When you brought this show to me, I was skeptical. Because I really don't like a lot of OVAs. I don't watch a lot of OVAs myself. I watch a series, sometimes a movie. But It's mostly gonna be a TV series. Those 8 episodes went by really quick. It felt like a movie. Like every episode had its own enemy, except Double Vision, technically. But an ending, a beginning, a middle, a big ass climax. They had their own fucking theme music, man. Like, what the fuck?
Every episode.
What the fuck? Batman get the same fucking theme music. They get different ones every single time. But yes, 8 episodes. I would not say no to this, people. You gotta check it out. Bubblegum Crisis. Find it on nefarious websites, or even find it on YouTube.
Yeah, they got the sub and the dub on YouTube available for you.
Kadawfi, anything else? You think about mecha and girls again?
Always thinking about mecha and girls. Why you think I brought you Outlaw Star? You got it, but now when you start to compare the shit that I show you, now you can start to make other compare. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's where you make your comparisons at.
So it's 4H clans. It's 4...
Katara. I love those women. I love those girls. I love all 4 of the girls from the Bubblegum Crisis. I said earlier in the game, each one of them has their own like flavor. Celia, Stingray. She stands up with the best posture. She has the short little haircut with little bits of jewelry just to accent her outfit. And baby girl got drip for days. You ain't out dressing motherfucking Celia Stingray. Bitch wearing a fur mink coat in the grungiest alley you've ever seen and walks with all the confidence in the universe. Like I wish you would.
She's more classy than the Queen of Southtown.
Baby girl is super classy. Fuck Lily of Southtown. Sorry, Terry.
Sorry, Terry.
Pris looks about like how we described her. Like,
she's that dude.
Like whatever you're thinking in your head. Oh, and did we mention she likes her motorcycle? What color is that motorcycle?
Red.
What color is that jacket?
Red.
Canada. Anyway, things take a lot of influence from other things. Just saying. Nene with the pink hair, the bubbly personality, the fucking absolute dits. She is adorable. She is adorable, and she likes cake. She likes cake. She eat cake in a blink of an eye.
Like cake.
She eat in a blink of an eye. And then we got Lena. Lena looks like the nice girl. The nice girl that gets no action, that gets no play, but she getting all the play.
And all the action.
She got all the boyfriends. And ain't scared to let you know. Ain't scared to tell you that, I broke up with him because he wants to be a 3D artist. The fuck I care about that for?
She have a boyfriend every day. Like every single day of the week.
Lena must be like super easy to talk to or something, bro. Like she must be great to have conversation with. Well, Steve, you got any last thoughts? Any final thoughts?
Like I'll say it again. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for listening.
This has been the Fighting Couch Potatoes and our take on the baddest asses women of anime. Go watch the fucking Bubblegum Crisis. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Check out the Fighting Couch Potatoes. We on Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And don't forget, you stay classy. And thanks for stopping by.
Was that bad?